Hello and welcome to the Share It with Ishani podcast. And I'm Ishani Gupta, radio anchor and a public speaking coach. So here we are with another podcast episode to educate, empower, and inspire you. And today's episode is extremely special because it is going to be filled with a lot of inspiring stuff because I have a very special guest who is an amazing and an inspirational personality all the way from Toronto, Canada. And I'm going to introduce you with him in just a short bit. Nelson Beltijar. Hi, Nelson. How you doing?
Hello, Ishani. How are you? Yes, I'm Nelson Beltijar from Toronto, Canada. And I just want to say to you and your audience, today is a great day to be above ground, I tell you. And you'll understand why I say that.
Such a bang on entry, bang on introduction. But let me first introduce him to you all. He's a certified life and executive business coach from Toronto, and he's also a motivational and an educational speaker. He's a physical therapist and also an author. He writes for his blog and he's also co-authored his book. And let me also mention, he is really into ice creams. Ice creams are my favorite too. So
I love ice cream.
So which one is your favorite?
I like to mix chocolate and vanilla, whipped cream, and a cherry on top, and chocolate sauce. And that's it. I'm in heaven.
Actually, chocolate is my favorite too. So we have really a great common ice cream flavor thing in between us.
Life is good.
Yeah, life is good. In this particular episode, we are going to share some really good insights, and he's going to talk about how an adversity can be turned into something advantageous, something to be used in your own personal life, how you can turn it into something positive. So we'll hear more on that, but first I want to ask Nelson about how he actually started with his career. How did you start off with your career? Were you always a certified coach, or did you start with something else?
Well, Ishani, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. And before I talk to you and your audience, I just want all of you and the entire planet to know that me, Nelson Beltijar, is nothing but an imperfect soldier for Christ. And it's because of him I'm still here. And I get to share a few minutes with all of you. And now to answer that question, before I do, I want to tell the audience that chances are there's nothing new that you're going to hear me say today that you don't already know. But how I got to where I am today, I'm a certified life and executive business coach. I'm also a physical therapist. I've also ran sport and activity camps for youths and kids. I'm also an academic coach for youth and young adults. I'm also an empowerment coach for people who are looking to get from their point A, who are having trouble to get to their point B. Now, ever since 1997, I've worn all those different hats. But Ishani, if you just take all those titles away and you throw them out the window, I'm nothing but a coach. A coach. A coach is someone who listens to where it is you want to get to, figures out where your distractions and where your failures and disappointments have been. And together we figure out how to help you climb your mountain of perceived can'ts and of paralyzing impossibilities. So I'm just a coach. Throw all the titles out the way. I honestly believe that the coaching profession was doing laps around the planet, trying to find somebody, got tired, landed on my shoulder because of exhaustion, and said, all right, Nelson Beltijar, you're going to be a coach. And here I am today.
Okay, so that was a long journey with all the things going on and then actually being a coach, if I have understood what you said correctly.
That's all I am. Throw all the titles out the window. I am just a coach, COACH. I help you get from your point A to desired point B. That's
Mhm.
all I do.
So you have been a coach throughout your life. So you have been coaching people, helping people around the world. All right. So that's
Yes,
wonderful.
yes, yes, yes. I didn't sign up for it. I think it found me.
Uh-huh. Okay. Why do you say so?
Because you know, when you're a young and you always in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, what do you want to be when you want to grow up? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a professional athlete. I never said I wanted to be a coach. I never said I wanted. I wanted to be a fireman, policeman, right?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to be. But I'm happy where life has unfolded, and I'm lucky to be doing what I do today. And it fills my cup to know that I can walk into someone's life and hopefully inject them with a little bit of hope, positivity, faith, and possibility.
Okay. So what exactly are you talking about when you mentioned this word adversity? You said that this adversity has led you to discover yourself. So what exactly is that?
Well, can I go back in time and start with a story to help set that answer up? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, adversity. Adversity is a word that no human being will ever be able to escape while they're on this planet. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you see, I'm one of those guys that knows what it's like to climb that mountain of ambition and success, get to the top, enjoy the view for a while, only to come crashing down, spiraling down, losing everything that I had ever worked for in a blink of an eye. You see, like I was lucky enough to build that thriving physical therapy private practice that specialized in injury assessment, treatment, and rehabilitation. And I'll never forget this. It was May 2016, and my staff and I were on the second floor of my studio loft, celebrating, clanging those champagne glasses, which were secretly filled with Diet Coke and ginger ale because we were at work, clanging those champagne glasses because we had reached a monumental goal. We were celebrating. We were on cloud 9. We were living the dream. It was amazing. And then a week later, 162 hours after that special, joyous moment in time, I was shockingly diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my God.
And I was forced to live in the hospital immediately
Mm-hmm.
for evaluation, supervision, and treatments and chemotherapy treatments. And to add salt to the wound, as a secondary complication, I lost my ability to walk. And I became a prisoner of a wheelchair for the next 3.5 years. That's 1,651 consecutive days out of my adult life. And like I said, adversity is a word that no human being can escape on this planet. And adversity, my grade 3 teacher taught me the word adversity and said to me, Nelson, I'll never forget this. My grade 3 teacher said to me, Nelson, when it comes to adversity, there will only be 2 outcomes. Either you will conquer it or you will crumble beneath it. And I've never forgotten that. And as crazy as that chapter is that I shared with you about what happened to me about being diagnosed with cancer, that was the easy part of my journey. And before I go further, adversity is a word that will attack you anytime it wants, regardless of your age, your gender, your status, or your religion. And it'll come for you when you least expect it. And like I said, that chapter that I shared with you was the easy part of my journey. If you lean in, I'll share the rest with you.
Yeah.
On the years 2016 and 2017, I was forced to live in 5 different hospitals, five.
God.
And my very first cancer doctor, let's call him Dr. K.
Okay.
Dr. K gave up on me, and he told my family that I was terminal and that there was nothing he or the hospital could do for me, and that I was going to die. And when he said that, I'm not going to lie, my life flashed before my eyes, and it's like a sword had come and swooped and cut me right at the knees. And I wallowed in about self-pity for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then I promised myself that if I am going to die, if I'm going to die, I'm going out in a bang. And I'm going to chase one more undying goal before I leave this planet. I just didn't know what it was yet. And I'll never forget this. I was lying in my hospital room, staring at the clock, a tear running down the right side of my face, wondering what I was going to do. And then an idea popped into my brain to write a blog. Yes, a blog. You're wondering, why would you be wanting to write a blog when you're about to exit the planet? Well, I wanted to write a blog, but not for vanity reasons at all. You see, at that time, I had a 6-year-old nephew, a 5 and 3-year-old niece, 2 brand new born twins who I loved dearly, but I also knew that I wasn't going to get a chance to see them grow up. And that broke my heart. So I wrote this blog that would house my ideas, my thoughts, my dreams, topics of conversation that I know that I would have with them if I was still alive. So I wrote this blog to house all that information, so I could leave it behind for them. So that way I could still be a part of their lives after I had passed away. But it looks like the joke's on me, because if we fast forward to 2018, I left Dr. K in the rearview mirror. I left him as fast as possible. And my family got me to another hospital, a brand new set of doctors. And my brand new doctors and brand new hospitals did everything to keep me alive. And they miraculously stamped me cancer-free on September 28th, 2018, and told me to go live my life. Ha ha ha, yeah. And
Wow.
that blog that we're talking about, that's gotten me all this attention, the blog that's titled www.thepositivedrip.com, that blog that I left behind specifically for my younger family members only, has accidentally trickled across the planet and developed a global readership, which was never the plan, never the plan. And 3, an online community is walking alongside that blog. And it's humbling. It's so humbling to see that people want to actually hear what you have to say. But I'm a firm believer that it is the tests that we go through on earth, that we come out the other end victorious, that gives us the credibility to finally be heard. And the reason why I share all this with you is not to brag. I'm not bragging at all. I'm here to say to you that adversity introduced me to a more stronger, more resilient me. Adversity turned my brain on to the idea of not faltering, but fighting to see the next day. Adversity inspired one last undying goal: to create that love-filled blog for my younger family members. Adversity it turned my brain on to what I could do in my perceived remaining days, as opposed to shut it off. And instead of lying in that hospital bed waiting for the coffin to arrive, I wrote that blog. And it's funny how life unfolds. And I'll be the first one to tell anyone, if I never got sick with cancer, I would have never created that blog. I would have probably maintained my life as a clinic owner, as a physical therapist. But because that happened to me and I survived, I refuse to let that trial or tribulation be in vain. And I will forever share my story of vulnerability, challenge, and eventual victory Why? So that way, if there's somebody out there going through whatever trial or tribulation they're going through, I want them to see that it's possible to overcome adversity. Will it be easy? Absolutely not, but it's possible. And here I am today. I get to share a few minutes with you and your audience. And it's funny how life unfolds. But here we are today.
I really did not know all of that story, but now that you have shared, it is really so inspiring for me personally. And I'm sure it is for anyone watching this and listening to your story. How a person
Thank
going
you.
through, how if anyone going through such adversity, because it is not only you, but your entire family gets involved, the emotional pressure, the trauma that each one of them had gone through in that particular period. It might have been so challenging for each one of them.
Yes, absolutely. And I have to be the first one to say that I am a product of every single friendship, relationship, family ship, and acquaintance, good or bad, that has ever come my way. And I did not get to where I am today all by myself. I had a lot of friends that stood by me through thick and thin, gave me their time when it was inconvenient for them, gave my family breaks so they could supervise me. You know, I was so bad and so terminal that the writing was on the wall that I was going to die. And all I asked was, I asked my family, who would stay with me from 9 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. at night. I just asked, promise me that when I do die, that I won't be alone, that I don't pass away alone in the hospital room. That's all I wanted. So then all my friends and family rallied around, and some of them took shifts from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., would bring their yoga mat, lie down on the floor beside me, just to make sure that if I did have my last breath, I wouldn't be alone. And it's because of these people that bled for me. I promised myself that I was going to fight. I was going to fight for them, because if they were willing to put themselves through all that uncomfortability for me, the least I could do was make sure I did everything I could to win. And I always kept that in my mind. You know, I love my family. I love my friends. And they are the reasons why I stayed. And they're the reasons why I desperately wanted to live. And I'm grateful that I get to be here. And I'm grateful that I get to perform as a coach. And I can hopefully help people believe in believing that things are possible. And if I can do that, then I've fulfilled my mission on this planet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe that the person who loses the battle in the mind will also eventually lose the battle, the life's battle, if I might say. So the battle of the mind is so damn important. If somebody just loses, like they are just believing that they are going to die, then nobody can help them. But I'm so glad that you had such a supportive family, and for your family, you were willing to live and you were willing to fight so hard.
Yes. And it's funny how you mentioned that about the power of the mind. Can I share a story with you regarding
Yeah, of
that
course.
power of the mind?
Sure.
We are all led to believe that there is a mind, body, spirit connection. To me, I learned that as a student. But those were just words on a page for me, until I realized to internalize them and put them in my cancer battling toolbox. And remember how I said that I was living in 5 different hospitals, Ashani? Remember?
Yeah.
I was so sick. Everybody would tell me all I could do was open my left eye, close it. Open my left eye, close it. That's all I could do. And I was a prisoner of that hospital room and a prisoner of that bed, physically. But I refused to let my mind be a prisoner of that hospital room. What I did while I was lying in that bed is I would use mental imagery or visualization or imagination, And I would see myself living a typical Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in my brain. I would live it out. I would look at a typical Monday, if it was Monday during the week. I would go through my patient roster, go through the discussions, the arguments, and all the errands that I would do all that day. So that way, by the time I had gone through it in my brain, I was trying to trick my subconscious into believing that I was out in the world living instead of being in that hospital bed slowly dying. I was trying to trick my physiology because everybody has told me, and I remember this since I was a kid, the subconscious cannot tell the difference between what's real and what isn't. So I choose to use that sentence in my brain to see if it's true. And have you ever played this video game called Pac-Man, Shani? Pac-Man?
Yeah. Yeah, I have in my
Yeah,
childhood days.
perfect. You and me, we've probably spent a lot of money on that thing. You know, it,
Yeah.
Pac-Man. The Pac-Man icon's job is to go around the screen and eat up all the dots. Womp, 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 chomp, 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 right?
Yeah.
So in my brain, every lunch, every dinner, every breakfast, and every night before I went to sleep, every day in the hospital, I would visualize that I had an internal Pac-Man in my body whose job was to eat up all the cancer cells. Every day I did that. Every breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bedtime. I would visualize a Pac-Man eating up my cancer cells. And remember how I told you that I was a prisoner of a wheelchair for about 3.5 years?
Yeah.
Well, I would mentally imagine myself walking down a specific street, making a right-hand turn towards a specific gas station, buying a specific drink at that gas station, coming out, making a left, walking back home with a specific group of people. And I would imagine this in my brain. That became my favorite film strip. And I would see that every day when I was in the hospital and when I was going through my own physical rehabilitation. In 2018, it was my personal project now. I had to be a patient. I had to learn how to walk again. And what I did was I had to graduate from a wheelchair to a walker to 2 canes to 1 cane, and eventually, hopefully, triumphantly walk on my own once again with my friends and family. That was the goal. That was the goal. And as fate would have it, on January the 3rd, 2021, I took my cane and I put it in the closet forever. So I want to
Wow.
let you and your audience know that I am now walking on my own, completely on my own with my friends and family. But that's not the best part. That's not the best part.
Okay.
You and I have a common friend. Her name is Andrea Mason. She's
Yeah.
America's #1 accountability coach from AndreaMasons.com.
Yeah.
One day, Andrea and I were having a conversation, and she said, "Now that you're walking, what is your next goal?" Remember, it's January 2021. I said, my next goal is to run, trot, and jog by December 31st, 2021. And jokingly, she said, "That's a great idea. But why don't you aim for June 1st? June 1st? That's 6 months. That's halfway." She goes, "Yeah, why not?" And then hung up. So I sat there and pondered it. And I said, well, why not? Remember, adversity, it's possible to overcome adversity. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. It's possible. So, I said, why not? So that if you go to my YouTube channel, The Positive Drip, you will see there's a video that says, "Thank you for everything." You will see my progression from being stuck in that wheelchair with a bad haircut. And you will see me go and eventually run down the street on June 1st, 2021. And the reason why I do this is because when you are somebody's coach, they trust you and they give you their time and they choose you to put they choose your calendar to put themselves in. And because now their coach was in the arena, it was it was my time to make sure I used everything that I had taught them to show them that it is possible. And I remember my physical therapists, I would stand up, walk, fall down, stand up, walk, fall down. They urged me, please, let's take a break. I said, no, I can't. We have to. I have to walk. Not for me, for every client, for any person that's listened to me, for my friends and family, for anyone that's watching me, because I have to show them that it's possible. And when my therapists heard that, they dusted themselves off and they said, okay, let's get back to work. And I'm lucky that I have a happy ending, but I share this story. I share it because I refuse to let what I went through be in vain. And I just want to hope, I hope that somebody out there is listening to this. And that way they can believe that it's possible. You may be at the end of your rope. You may see the glass is half full. You may be running on empty. But I want you to remember, there's this guy in Toronto, Canada, Nelson Beltijar, who's telling you it's possible to overcome adversity.
So powerful words. Thank you so much for sharing this entire story. So it itself is so inspiring. I feel so inspired because, I recently started, it's just about a year. I started my own coaching. I'm a coach, as I mentioned. So in the beginning, it is about, a lot of downfall. You are falling and then getting up again, falling and getting up again. So the story that you just shared, that you tried walking, but you are falling. Your therapist were telling you that it's okay, let us take a break, but you were adamant. You wanted to go and do it, not for yourself, but for the people out there. So this is where the inspiration comes from. And I hope the same inspiration, I'm also inspired that not for myself, but for the people out there, I too am able to help them. I too am able to help the people out there in improving their confidence levels in public speaking and everything. So you are an inspiration for me in the first place.
Well, thank you very much. And you should be proud of yourself that you've chosen to take on the responsibility of being a coach, because every single successful person on the planet, through sports, academics, through anything, through artistry and the arts, have all had a coach. So for those of you out there wondering, well, why do I need a coach? Remember what I just said. Every top achiever, every successful person, every dream achiever, athlete, artist, academics, friends, family, they all had a coach. So why not you?
Absolutely. Because coaching, mentorship is so damn important. Even I realized that because I have had so many coaches, not only coaching, not only a business coach, but also my coach from my radio jockeying times. Like when I just started and I was radio anchoring, at that time, we were personally trained, into this thing because we were absolutely new. At that time, we needed a coach. So at every step, you need a coach. And it is very important to hire a coach if you want to chase and achieve your dreams.
Absolutely. Because remember this, everything that we are good at today, everything that we have mastered today, we were once not good at it. And we needed someone to show up to encourage us, uplift and esteem us, and help us believe that it was possible, who helped pick us up when we fell down and encouraged us to keep going. And the only reason why people really succeed and get the things that they hope, wish, and want and dream for is because they never gave up.
Yeah.
And they refused to listen to those naysayers who said, no, don't, won't, can't. Who do you think you are? Surround yourself. I honestly tell people this. Surround yourself with people that truly want to see you win, that are at your ambition level or above. And stay away from those naysayers. And you know what? we all have people like that in our lives. We all do. When I was going through cancer, people were saying, "Oh, it's so sad that you're so young. Oh, we have so much to live for." And I said, "Hey, hey, 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 hey! I'm still here. Look, uh, I know we're family. We're family. We're family." And it's January 1st, 2018. Let's not see each other until maybe January 30th, 2050. Because I got to beat this cancer and I don't want to see you until then. And in the end, one of us is going to be right and one of us is going to be wrong. And to your viewers out there, I urge you to go after the thing that you want. And if you don't know how to do it, find someone that has achieved that goal, someone that has successfully crossed that bridge before you. Ask them how they did it. I promise you, they'll throw you some information, a nugget or two to get you started. Why? Because they were once in your shoes and they would love to help you get to where you want to get to. Because I promise you, there's a lot of selfless people out there, but more importantly, a lot of selfish people out there. But find the selfless ones that will give you their time and help you get to where you want to go, because you deserve it. If it's in your brain, if it's in your heart, it's been put there for a reason. Go after it.
Thank you so much, Nelson. Again, powerful words coming from you. I'm so damn enjoying this episode. So, do you have a podcast? I know you already mentioned about your blog. So, do you have a podcast or are you planning to start one? What's your plan?
Well, as you know, I do have that blog, which I created, which is www.thepositivedrip.com.
Yeah.
I also have a YouTube channel that's The Positive Drip. And I currently don't have a podcast because I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of things I'm not good at, and technology is one of them, as we experienced before the show started. But perhaps maybe down the road, it's funny how life unfolds, because yes, you see my face. Yes, you hear my story. Until this day, my friends constantly tease me and say, "You know what, Nelson? You have the perfect face for radio." Maybe they're right. So who knows? Maybe down the road I will have a podcast. But I have that blog, the YouTube channel. And if anybody has a few minutes, come visit me. And hopefully I can entertain you, inspire you, and give you that little hug and kick in the butt to walk forward and go after the things that you want, dream of, and deserve.
Yeah, so definitely reach out to Nelson. I'm also providing the links below in the description box. Definitely go and check out his blog, check out his YouTube channel, and I'm sure you're going to get your dose of positivity because he's such a positive and such an inspiring person.
Well, that's so nice. And then since we're having a good time, if we're having a good time, I invite you to grab your phone, go into your email, send me an email at thepositivedrip@hotmail.com and say hello, what country you're from, and I promise I'll send you a gift of appreciation for hanging out with me and Ishani today. But Ishani, before you kick me off your cyber stage, I need to applaud you and tell you that, man, you are truly making a difference in this world. And I admire you for using your precious time to do the podcast, because you could be doing a million other things, but you're choosing to do this. Why? Because I know that you want to help make this world a better place.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Nelson. It really means a lot. And actually, I feel so motivated to continue with the good work that I'm doing. I feel so encouraged by these words. Thank you so much. So anything you want to share, your last message or something on my podcast?
Well, remember how I told you I was stuck living in those 5 different hospitals, and I was almost ushered off this planet into that next dimension?
Mm-hmm.
As I was living in those 5 different hospitals, I'll never forget this. I learned my greatest life lesson while living in these hospitals, surrounded by death and illness 24/7. I'll never forget this. I was lying in my hospital bed, and then it's like the sky had opened up. And I had this major epiphany that the greatest lie that we've all been led to believe is that we all have time and a long list of some days and a whole bunch of I'll do it later opportunities. And that's wrong, because no man or woman knows when their last breath will be. So I urge the listeners out there to not fall prey to the distractions of life. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I fell prey to a lot of distractions, believe me. But looking back on things now, these distractions will pull you away from your desired destination. And if you can just focus on going after the things that you want on that checklist of life, hopefully, at the end of it all, you will be able to say that I accomplished everything I wanted. So that way, when you do pass away, you can die empty, bringing no unfinished earthly business with you to the grave, like my father did. There's a picture of my dad right there over my right shoulder. My dad passed away last December 16th, 2020. And he was living proof. He and my mom left the Philippines to chase a dream, come to Toronto, Canada, to create a better future for themselves and their unborn children, my sister and I. And because my mom and dad were brave enough to come to an unknown world, I get to live out my goals and dreams. And he was a man that weathered every single storm that life threw at him, never once complaining, criticizing, or condemning. And he was living proof that dreams can come true. And because I share the same DNA as him, I've chosen to take up the sword and keep sharing that message with anyone who's listening, with anyone who's willing to share time with me, and anyone who's willing to sit down with me and share a bowl of ice cream.
Thank you so much. And I would really love to have ice cream with you whenever I get a chance to meet you personally. We'll have the chocolate ice cream, chocolate and vanilla.
We can do it through Zoom one of these days. We can have a Zoom ice cream.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me for the Zoom ice cream.
You know, before I leave,
Yeah.
life is too short. And life is always so much easier to understand when we can look at it backwards. Because then we can finally understand why we had to go right instead of left, why we had that obstacle instead of it was a free pass, why things happened. Because the way life unfolds is supposed to be the way life unfolds. And then that way, once it's all said and done, we will understand why everything happened the way it did. Because I honestly believe, regardless of all the trials and tribulations I went through, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, functioning in the world right now and doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. I can very well resonate with what you said, because once we look backwards, only then we'll be able to connect the dots that whatever happened had to happen so that we could be in this particular spot today where we are right now. And there is a story even in my own life, because so many things have gone through over the past several years. After I finished my college, I did my post graduation, and I had some aims in my life. I wanted to be a bureaucrat and everything, but eventually that did not happen. But I got into radio anchoring, and I absolutely fell in love with that. And I thought, yes, radio anchoring and talking to people is the thing for me. Then I also started public speaking and became a coach recently. So now I feel that yes, I was meant to be here. And even though that thing happened, the adversity that I could not pass that exam, but wherever I am right now is because I was not there. That is why I'm here.
Yes, yes, yes. And the thing is, you are making the most of your opportunity, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are a global voice. You are a
Thank you
global
so
voice.
much. Thank you
Share it with the
so much.
world.
Thanks a lot for your kind words.
Can I
No,
just
no.
share one more story before we say bye?
Yes, please, please. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, that's the phone ringing. Maybe that's my dad calling us from that next place, saying hello. Hi, Dad. The story I want to share with you is thepositivedrip.com is what got you and I together. And I have to tell you this, when I was writing that blog, my very first blog article, I was hovering over my laptop. I'm not a writer. I am the last furthest thing from a writer. And I was hovering over my laptop, terrified. Do I send this? Do I upload it? And remember how I told you I had a 6-year-old nephew at the time?
Yeah.
His name is Austin, and I call him Awesome Austin. And Awesome Austin walked up to me and he saw that I was having trouble. And he goes, Uncle Nelson, what's wrong? So through the eyes of a 6-year-old child, he could tell that something was wrong. And I told him, I'm having trouble uploading my blog sheet. So he
Okay.
looked at me through the eyes of a child and said, it's easy, Uncle Nelson. All you have to do is press the send button. So he took his 6-year-old finger, leaned over my laptop, and Awesome Austin pressed the send button. And as he pressed it, I was like, no, Austin, no. And then in a blink of an eye, thepositivedrip.com entered cyberspace. So this blog that's got me all this attention, I can't even take credit for. Awesome Austin is the magic behind all this. You can see that there are a lot of things I'm not good at, but the world gave me messengers, gave me people that could help me cross that bridge so I could get to where I am today and function the way I am today. And I'll say it again, I did not get to where I am all by myself. I had a lot of help from friends, family, acquaintances. And since I'm here, I will not let them down. And because you let me be a guest on your show, I hope, wish, and pray that your audience was entertained and hopefully will go out and go after the things they want and deserve.
Absolutely. I mean, it is really hard to not go after and chase your dreams after listening to your story. It is so motivating. Even I have a huge to-do list to complete, which I might have been procrastinating for a few days, but now I'm going to get on to work. Enough of procrastination.
All right. And if you need an accountability coach, you know how to find me, or you know how to find AndreaMasons.com, and we'll help you
Yeah.
get there. Together, we'll make sure it happens.
Absolutely. So it was so fun talking to you. You shared your story with a lot of, there was a lot of humor into it. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Me as well. My pleasure, Ashani, my pleasure. Till next time.
Yes. So that's all for today. So signing off from Share It with Ishani. See you next time. Bye-bye.